Hi, this is Sarah Mikesell at the pig site, and today we're here with two guests, Dr. Bart Borg, who is the Vice President of Feed and Nutrition at Passel Farms, and Dr. David Rosero, who is the Assistant Professor at Iowa State University. And today we are here at the Lessons in Swine Nutrition seminar hosted by US Soy, and we're at the World Pork Expo in Des Moines, Iowa. And wanted to talk a little bit about the presentations that you guys gave. And we're going to start, Bart, with you. To what extent does the summer heat impact carcass weight?
Well, it's over the years variable, and I'll describe that a little bit more here in a minute. But some large system summaries have shown that anywhere from 7 to 10 pounds of carcass weight loss can occur during that July-August time period. I would also say that US Soy has recently funded a large-scale feeding trial that occurred last summer. And if you were in Iowa last summer, you'll remember that we had a very cool summer.
Right.
So the results of that 100,000 pig study were in the same direction as directionally correct, but we know that when we have cooler weather, pigs will gain better, and so the response was a little less. Another thing to consider as we think about the summer weight dip, weather has something to do with it.
Right. So even though it was cooler, it still proved your point, in other words.
Yes, all the indicators of daily gain and other parameters were going in the right direction.
Right.
Just the impact was a little bit less because of cooler weather.
Very good. Excellent. Do producers face this issue year in and year out, or is it only under more extreme heat conditions?
Yeah, I'd say the more extreme, the worse it will be. But as I just indicated, we have an example here recently where a cool summer, but again, part of the consideration of using this tool of soybean meal to mitigate that. And you need to be a meteorologist or have a crystal ball to really get it right. But most of the time we'll have summer heat.
Got it. Very good. And what are the economic implications to producers from this summer dip?
I mean, it's, again, lots of variables there. We have to consider the input costs of corn, soy, and DDGs of feeding that pig. But most importantly, to say what's the financial impact is what is that weight worth when we go to sell it in July or August. And this year I can say that we're happy to have dollar plus markets and profitability. And so hopefully producers are this year employing strategies to remove that dip.
Very good. Excellent. Well, David, we're going to switch over to you and talk about a little bit about the flip side of this, kind of the nutritional side. How can the decline of carcass weight during summer be minimized with the strategic use of high levels of soybean meal and grow-finish diets?
Yeah, so today I'll put my production nutritionist hat, Sarah.
Okay.
In my experience when I was overseeing the nutritional programs at Hanover, what we did though is to understand the ingredients. So soybean meal in our studies impacted the growth of pigs, especially when we fed those pigs that will be sold during summer. And applying that, and there's a number of studies today where they are demonstrating the growth potential of the pigs being captured when fed high levels of soybean meal, and there's different hypotheses around that. I won't speculate much today, but it's based on our learnings. We knew that there was a minimum level of soybean meal that had to be fed to pigs through the growth period to capture maximum growth potential. So that will be one of the aspects. And a second aspect, I will say, is for us to understand different feed ingredients in our program and maybe avoid those that will restrict feed intake of pigs.
Got it. Very good. And how should nutritionists and producers design their feeding programs for growing pigs to be sold during summer months?
Yeah, excellent. So I might expand on what you just asked before. So understanding if there's a minimum level of soybean meal to feed in each of the phases for pigs. Avoid ingredients, and we know ingredients like DDGs, corn germ, wheat meats, they will have a negative impact on feed intake. So I will understand those and what is the level of impact on feed intake, because that's going to affect my gain.
Right.
And that goes against what I want to capture during summer months. So that's the second aspect, and then elaborate around that, your program. Yeah.
Very good. Excellent. And when should these summer feeding programs begin?
Excellent question. So we were just discussing here with
Right.
Dr. Borg, and really we have to start discussing about what we're going to do for summer months when pigs will be sold during that time. The discussions have to occur in December, January time, because by February
Right.
we have to decide the program. And then you have different options. You might opt for a diet that has higher energy, which is going to be a lot more expensive. Maybe a diet like the one I described, using a minimum level of soybean meal that maximizes growth, or a diet that is going to be a less expensive diet. So those will be options that I will try to compare. You need to understand future prices or expected prices for corn, soybean meal, energy, or fat, and then what is you're expecting for hogs when you sold those, and then when you put the things together, you can make a wise decision on how to feed those pigs. But you have to make the decision early in the year. Start the program on February.
Right.
Expect those pigs to be sold on June, July.
Got it. So you're starting the feeding program quite early, right?
Yes.
To impact the summer pigs, right?
That's correct. So those pigs that I start at 50 pounds will start in February,
Right.
and those will be the first to hit the market when my prices go higher in
Right.
May, June time.
Yeah. It's all about timing for this, though, right?
Yeah, and unfortunately we have to start very early, right? It takes
Yeah.
us months to get the pigs into the market, and if we don't put the pounds at the beginning, we're losing the opportunity to capture those pounds at the end.
Right. Very good. Are there any economic tools that can help with decision making about nutritional programs when it comes to the summer dip?
Unfortunately, no for the general public, I will say, but some companies will have their internal tools, right? Their internal modeling based on the response of pigs and my assumed price for the summer. And so that's something we're working together with Soybean Board and with Dr. Bart Borg. I think we see the need of a tool that integrates future prices for commodities, for pigs, and then I can compare different strategies like the ones I described. And then once I integrate my expected response of pigs, then I can decide on a diet that it might be in paper a little expensive, but when I put together with the pounds that I'm going to sell and the price that I'm going to sell, it's going to be superior in profitability. So a tool is needed. Unfortunately, we don't have one out there, but good news is we're working on one excellent tool.
And it's so complex, right? There's so many things that go into this. You almost do have to have a calculator or a tool of some kind to really help you make these decisions.
There's many math equations that go on in behind the scenes, right? If you talk about animal performance, diet formulation, and future prices, it's complex. But I think we'll have for a next year decision a very good tool.
Very good. Exciting. You must be the math guy that's going to put that all together, it sounds like, Bart. So we'll leave that problem for you to solve this year. But circling back to the seminar, what are the key takeaways for nutritionists and producers?
Well, I think probably the reality that more times than not there is going to be weight loss in the summer. I mean, just that it's a challenge that every year, early in the year, need to be thinking about and planning for. The second is that right now, with the economics associated with soybean meal down in the $275 a ton range, we're selling into a $1+ market. This is an opportunity that could be a $3 to $4 per head opportunity for a producer if under these circumstances would have pulled the trigger back in February, March to mitigate this summer's weight dip.
Right. And you don't want to lose, you want to be able to capture those dollars, right?
That's exactly right. I mean, many times, we scratch and claw for a dime and a quarter, and you talk about $4, that's a big deal.
It's a big deal. Very good. Excellent. And let's get your take on this as well.
Yes, from the nutritional standpoint and bringing back my experiences, understanding your ingredients, right? If soybean meal is a key part of my program, I want to know the response of my pigs to not only soybean meal, but the other ingredients. And maybe be careful with those that affect feed intake. I know I can capture some value with those, but in different times. In a time where I want to maximize the growth potential of pigs and I have the opportunity to capture extra revenue and increase profitability, that might be the best time where I can use those ingredients. So get to know your ingredients better. I think as nutritionists too, think about timing. We talk about timing, and we have to start feeding those pigs as of February, right? And if we want to capture the higher price during summer months. So those will be my take.
Awesome.
Yep.
Great. Well, hey, thank you guys so much for all the information today. I really appreciate it. And we covered a lot of ground in a short period of time, so I appreciate that. Thanks again. This is Sarah Mikesell with the Pig Site.